Well, we hear it around Christmas time. All is calm and all is bright. That second word, it gives us pause. How can someone or something be brighter? So today we're adding to our Christmas list and we're asking the question, how can we be brighter in our lives during this holiday season and beyond? We send a message to someone who can help us answer that. Let's see if they got it. Heather, looks like you got our message.
Yes, I did. I got the message for sure.
We got to come and visit you and deliver this amazing word, brighter. What to you are the characteristics of being brighter?
You know, when I think about bright, I think about something that's illuminated. I think about something that's cheerful, something that's positive. There's something amazing about brightness. It feels to me like brightness isn't just something that I get to experience, but it's something that shines outward to other people also, right? There's hope in the word bright. There's just this magic that comes. If you think about a room that's very bright, it spills out into the hallway, right? So there's this positivity that comes from this word. I think it's something that we all hope to have, not just during the holiday season, but year round. We hope for things to be illuminated, to make sense, to see a path moving forward. We want that all the time. We want that year round.
We want that year round. And I think we do focus on it this time of year specifically, but if there's ways we can incorporate it to bring it into 2025 and beyond, I think that will make a difference. Why do you believe that being brighter, why do you believe that being brighter matters in our daily lives?
I think one of the biggest reasons is because when we think about things being bright for us, it gives us hope. And when we have hope, then things look brighter. It feeds itself. And when things look brighter, we have more hope. There's an interesting thing about hope. You know, hope is this ability for us to look and see that all the things that we want illuminated or all the things that we hope are bright will actually happen for us. There's this space kind of faith I think we all have in our families where we look at good things or brightness happening for other people. But hope is this idea that it's going to happen for me. And so when there's that illumination, when things are positive and there's that lightness, that brightness, I have hope that those things I'm looking at might actually apply to me, might happen to me. And so the idea that brightness and hope kind of feed themselves is a pretty amazing concept to understand. The brighter we get things, the more hope we have. The more hope we have, the brighter our lives look. So I think we all want this. We need this.
We all want this. We all need this, especially that mindset going into the new year. I love that. What does your life look like when it feels the brightest, Heather?
Oh, when my life is the brightest, I would say first it's the brightest when I'm surrounded by my family. I don't think there's any other answer to that. That is the ultimate answer for me personally. And when we're together and we don't even have to be doing anything, just simply to know that we're together and we're connected that way. I also know that my life feels very bright anytime I have a thought or an idea to reach towards someone else and I follow through with that. There's an unbelievable brightness that I personally feel when an idea pops into my head or a prompting or a thought that says, hey, reach out in some way, serve or love in some way. And if I follow through, my life becomes so bright. And so I recognize that also when it comes to things being bright, that illumination that we're looking for. I think for me too, anytime there's a space where I'm connected to a higher power, there's a brightness that I can't deny. There's this, again, this positivity, this ability to have hope that it can work out or be sorted out, that the light will stick around when I connect myself to something much bigger than I am. It lets me know that I'm not doing something alone. And there's a brightness in that for me. I love those spaces.
And it could be the bright light at the end of a dark tunnel.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not that the tunnel still won't have challenges in it, but that brightness lets me know that I can get to the end. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I love that we are doing this full circle with hope. I love it. Okay, so you actually have some tips on how we can make our lives brighter this time of year and beyond. First, you say we need to connect.
We do need to connect. Now, we hear that word all the time, and sometimes it's hard to know exactly what that might look like. When we look at the best places and ways to connect, there's actually kind of three categories. We can step back as families, as parents, and as individuals and say, okay, am I working to create connections in these three spaces? Because to be bright, to have hope, to be full, right, we want to connect in these ways. The first is an ability to connect one-on-one, to show individual love and attention, to connect with individuals. individuals, again, one-on-one. The second is with our family, that there's a body of people that we're connected to. And the third is actually our community. And the coolest thing about the holidays is that a lot of our rituals and traditions during the holiday season incorporate one-on-one connection, family and friend connection, and community connection. So it's kind of a great, even exercise to sit down with our families and say, hey, what are some ways we can show love individually? What are some ways that we can show love and connect as a family? And what are some ways we can connect to the community around us? We feel full or satisfied when we find connection in all three of those areas, and also when we're giving in all three of those areas. So connection will help things feel bright right now, and the holiday season is a great time for it. And it also leads us into the new year with a brightness when we'll consider those spaces of connection. They matter.
They matter. And it moves into your next point in that aspect of serving.
Of serving other people. Now, when we serve other people, a couple really amazing benefits light up our lives. The first is the more we serve, the more grateful we are. And if we can think of gratitude as this master key, anything good you want, gratitude will open the door to it. And we get to a space of gratitude when we serve. And so we have that benefit of service that comes. It will lighten our lives, literally lighten our lives. The other thing is we get a new perspective when we serve. It enhances our perspective of the world around us, which then in turn brings us empathy. And it brings us again back to that connection. So we can ask the same question, how are ways we can serve one-on-one? How are ways we can serve in a family situation or setting? And how can we serve the community around us? And now the service leads us to connect. And that connection gives us hope. And that hope gives us that brightness that we're looking for. So service is a really, really great way to bring that bright light, that positivity into our lives. We also want to gather, and this is such a good season to do that. Now, gathering's interesting. I think sometimes we think about gathering, and if we're the ones gathering, we feel like it's a lot of work. And if we're asking to come to a gathering, we also feel like it's a lot of work, especially at this time of year when there's so many things that we could be attending. Gathering's interesting because it actually blesses us on the backside once we've gathered. It isn't necessarily on the front side. It's once we put in the energy or effort to get there to the gathering that we then make the connection. We see where we can serve, and we walk away going, I am really, really glad. My life is brighter as a result of the fact that I came here to gather. So this gathering, it also helps combat loneliness. And I think during the holidays, there's more loneliness than we might recognize sometimes. And I think even as parents, we sometimes feel it as we're trying to gather up and create magic and memories for our families, that sometimes we feel that. And so an ability to gather helps combat that loneliness, which is pretty amazing. We can get rid of the loneliness and bring in the light, the brightness.
Especially when you're saying it's not always easy to gather, right? But it's that moment of when you're done that you're, oh, I'm so glad I did that. I feel lighter, I feel brighter, I feel peace, I feel hope. Last, you say reflect.
We can reflect, and this is going to go two ways. If we want our lives to be brighter, we're going to reflect, and we're going to look backwards, and we're going to find all the things we were grateful for that got us here. And then there's this reflecting forward that can happen, where we take all the things we're grateful for, and they allow it to light up or provide the brightness, the light that we need in order to see where we want to move on or go moving forward. Reflection does that. It again brings in that gratitude. It changes a perspective, but it brings in the light so we can see where we want to head when we reflect. Now, sometimes we can reflect and it isn't so great, right? We look backwards and see things we wish we could have changed. But even then, if we can take it and ask, what can I learn so that this can illuminate a path moving forward? Now we're filling our light with our lives with brightness again. And now brightness and hope go hand in hand, where we can say, hey, as a result of what I'm reflecting on, this is what I can hope for or look for in brightness moving forward. So reflection's really important, but we want to reflect forward. We want to gather it all up. We want to allow it to help us understand where we're at today. And then we want it to show us the path moving forward. That's why it matters so much.
I think reflect is actually my favorite one, because I think all these other things, we've heard them, right? And we know that all these things correlate. But when you truly look and reflect, and I love that reflecting forward, you see that brightness and that hope and how they play hand in hand. It's so good, Heather.
Absolutely. Something to look forward to, right? To hang on to.
Something to look forward to. Oh, so good. Thanks, Heather. If you want to find more from Heather, she counsels families and individuals. You can find her contact information on our website.